And Jim, I'm going to get you started here. You go ahead.
I'm not doing it. You are. Hey guys, Jim and Ann Glenn
Hi.
here with Dr. Lee and with the amazing Hunter Dean. And what is today? I have no clue. I think it's December
Friday,
something.
December
December the 20th. We're coming to you live from San Antonio, Texas. Yes, I've got a little bit of a whole or head congestion, so I may sound a little bit weird. So yeah, please, like Mr. Berg, let us know where you're calling in from, please.
Yes.
So we can kind of get an idea. We got people from all over the world that'll be joining us. I apologize for the confusion with Jerem Webb. He will be joining us on January something.
17th.
January 17th. So that's going to be with the rollout, and Hunter is going to be kind of going over the new product with us here and kind of the rollout stuff with all of that. So we've got people coming from all over the world. You do the people because I'm losing my voice already, Lee. So Happy Valley, Baltimore, Indianapolis, Hamilton, Melbourne.
So Australia,
love to see people.
Washington. We'll be started here in just a moment. Welcome.
So Hunter, people are so confident and excited about this stuff. So I hope you're going to give us a little bit of something here.
Yeah. I'm not going to give you everything, but I'm happy to give you as much as I can.
Now, look, you told me you would earlier. So you know what? Come on.
Just a teaser. That's it.
But we are beyond excited. We know how knowledgeable you and Dr. Osler are on this new stuff. So we want to welcome everyone. Maureen, I believe she has a family, which is not unusual this time of the year. So we will be off until January the 3rd. We will have an exceptional guest kicking off the new year. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet. You're going to have to come back and see. So with that, again, Dr. Osler is up somewhere up in the Northwest. I think that's a little bit northwest of Texas. I don't know. Hunter, I think you're a little bit west of Texas as well, maybe a little bit north as well. So we kind of judge everything based on where you are related to Texas. We're in San Antonio. Again, Dr. Osler, you're on the medical professional board, which Hunter is there with you on that. Let me maybe start with you. Go ahead and give us our disclaimer as you generally do, please. But then give us your opinion, your thoughts of what's coming out with the new, since Hunter won't tell me the name of it, it's the new stuff. It's the new targeted stuff. So if I'm not mistaken, we had Nancy Tennell on a show a while back with Regina Moran, and they lovingly called it the stuff back in the beginning. So this is the new stuff that we have now. So with that, Lee, kind of give us the disclaimer and a little bit about you and what your thoughts are on the new stuff.
Well, thanks, Jim, and welcome to another edition of Redox 5. As Maureen would always say, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It certainly is here. I think that where I'm at is the center of the universe, and Jim is just east of us, so that's fine. We welcome you from around the world. This is December 20th. We're just a week ahead of Christmas time, and as you said, we'll be taking a couple weeks off deservedly, and we appreciate having Hunter Dean on tonight, who's coming at us from the main control center of all things ASEA and Redox in the universe, and so we love having him on. So let me start with a disclaimer. Both Jim and Ann and myself are independent associates for a company called AseaGlobal, and we are representing a product that is a cellular health product. Therefore, it is a supplement, and we do not make any claims, medical claims, or to treat, diagnose, or cure any medical diseases. We won't be talking about any specifically by name, certainly. If you're participating live in the chat, we will not answer questions directly to specific medical conditions, although you're welcome to ask. We'll just kind of find a way to address those in some fashion. But this has been an amazing journey for all of us. This is a wonderful company, and Hunter is in charge of all the manufacturing and the product fulfillment and marketing, and so we're developing a very wonderful voice in terms of how to language this new science. And basically, just in a quick nutshell, this science has to do with how cells work. This is cellular function. If we reverse engineered the equation, obviously what we all want to wind up at is a place where we all have happy, healthy cells. The question is, what does it take to turn on all the cell defense mechanisms and pathways that create health? I call it awakening the inner doctor. You can call it the inner healer. But we all have a native capacity wherein each of us, we have capacity to be able to deal with the stresses that we encounter just through daily living, as well as that which is in our environment. And we believe that we have a very solid answer to that. We are positioned what we call upstream in the pathways of disease and oxidation and inflammation. You might typically think of this as the root cause. And if there is such a thing as a root cause, then there has to also be such a thing as a root solution. And we believe that we are at that position because we can alter and change the cellular physiology such that we can turn on switches that activate survival and longevity genes. And so that's the exciting part of this, is to find these new applications for these redox or reduction oxidation pathways that happen to manage our cellular defenses. So that's just a quick flyover. We can drill into the weeds deeper if we want to before we're done here. But I'd like to just get Hunter involved right away. We do have the stuff coming. We do all affectionately call it the stuff. And Hunter and I have been together in several meetings over the last few months talking about this. And so I kind of have an understanding of what's coming, but he's a little deeper in the onion than the rest of us. And so we try hard to peel those layers away so that we can understand what the stuff is about. And so Hunter, why don't you jump in and, for those who don't know you, let's just start that. There'll be new people watching this either now or on replay who don't understand what you're doing or, your role. You can maybe start with that and then kind of go into from a general and then peel some of those layers back into the stuff.
Sure. I'll peel some of the layers back, but we can't get quite to the core of the onion just yet. But So my name is Hunter Dean. I'm the Senior Vice President of Science and Marketing at ASEA. My background is in chemical engineering. I'm not a doctor. I work with a lot of really smart people. We have PhD level scientists at ASEA in molecular biology, organic chemistry. We have analytical chemists. We have biologists. Really, that's the team that I work with on the R&D and product development side. And it's an honor to be able to work with that team on a technology like this and work with a company that invests so heavily in the science of redox and really being on the cutting edge of what that technology can do. And it's something that really makes it exciting for me to go into work every single day. I can't believe to say this, but I've been with the company 6 years now. So I have a good amount of time with the company. And it's an amazing company, amazing culture, and life-changing products. And so a little bit, if I can start kind of more broadly and then kind of work our way towards the stuff. Lee, I think you did a great job of explaining this technology and the benefits that it has. I like to talk about redox as we've traditionally approached it as a broad spectrum technology. Because these redox signaling molecules are bioidentical to what your cells are making in order for that communication and cellular function to happen, these products work at the cellular and the genetic level. And because of that, they can really reach in a broad spectrum way across the foundation of your health and wellness. They can make you more resilient to stress. They can make you more robust and help you maintain your health and wellness. A lot of the negative health challenges that people experience, as well as maintaining positive function of our health, happens at the cellular level. And so through these redox signaling molecules, we allow the cells to communicate, to maintain, and in some cases enhance cellular function. Because this is happening at the cellular genetic level, again, we say it's a broad spectrum technology, at least to this point it has been. I like to think of that as kind of a piano. There are 88 keys on a piano, right? Your health and wellness, I like to think of as a beautiful musical piece. There are many chords, melodies, notes being played together synchronously to maintain your health and wellness. Um, Now, traditional approaches to health and wellness supplementation has been to throw raw ingredients on top and try and assist your ability to play an individual key more effectively. That's a good approach. However, you need to be able to play the entire melody, right? And so because redox signaling molecules play at that cellular and genetic level, that helps you to play across the entire keyboard. And so it's a really strong foundational health and wellness product. And we've seen amazing benefits for the past 15 years at this point. Distributed around the world, 34 countries, people have had life-changing benefits from this technology. And it's been really, really interesting to be able to work with a team of scientists, both internally as well as university research. One of the things that I wanted to talk about as we kind of lay the foundation for our discussion on the new stuff is talking about the NRF2 pathway and the anti-inflammatory pathway and kind of a recovery pathway, if you will, is NRF2. Those of you who have been with ASEA for a little while now know that we've been talking about NRF2 for probably the last 2 years or so. The NRF2 pathway is an important anti-inflammatory and recovery pathway. When this pathway is signaled in the body, there are protective proteins that are made. An example of that is glutathione. Glutathione acts like a bodyguard for your cells, helping to protect them against stress, and that helps them to recover faster. And so this is something that we studied with our core technology, the ASEA Redox supplement and Renew 28. So the drink, the blue bottle, as well as the white tube, the topical, the clear gel, the Redox gel. And we found that both of those products increased NRF2 expression quite substantially, between 40 and 60%, depending on the test that we saw, which are huge numbers in increasing the glutathione production, those protective proteins, those bodyguards for your cells. What's interesting is there are a lot of people who come to ASEA with a very specific challenge, right? We all have different health challenges. We all have different health goals. And we're looking for very specific things oftentimes. And people will look to ASEA as a broad spectrum product, meaning benefits in lots of areas, and experience very specific benefits. NRF2 is one example of that, right? If you can reduce inflammation via the NRF2 pathway, there are a lot of downstream effects and there are a lot of benefits from that. And so one of the things that we wanted to look at was, okay, we have core technology in the form of redox signaling molecules that are capable of playing across this entire keyboard. And what people are finding is in the areas where they are, let's call it in deficit, they're finding very specific results. Is there a way to calibrate redox signaling molecules to be able to focus their redox potential, focus their energy, instead of playing across the entire keyboard, to play all of their energy into one or a few keys on the piano? So what I'm saying here is there a way to focus a product almost entirely on the NRF2 pathway, take all of that redox potential in the product, and instead of sprinkling it over all of the pathways, we say, no, we're going to put all of that into this key. And this is where the research has been. And this is what has led to the development of the new stuff, is a targeted redox product.
Hunter, this all began, what was it, 7 years ago with the Tourette study?
Yeah.
Can
So
you
that was-
kind of maybe do a little bit of a backtrack into that study? I'm not sure if you were here then, but then how that opened the door, and then these other institutions started to reach out to you or to ASEA to go deeper. Is that kind of how that went?
Yeah, 100%. So the Torre Lab study was probably a year before my time.
Okay.
But that was really a landmark study for ASEA because what it was a human trial. It was a double-blind, placebo-controlled study where we looked at the genetic expression in individuals who were on the product. And they were taking 4 ounces twice daily, and it spanned a 90-day period. And what we found was that there were a series of incredibly important pathways that were increased in their genetic expression, right? So this was the first time ASEA had evidence. We knew that the product was working. We didn't quite understand how it was working. And the Torre lab study was really the first opening the door to understanding, oh, this is happening at the cellular and the genetic level, and this is changing the expression of important genes. This is signaling important pathways to maintain cellular health and function. And so where we went with that study, the Torre lab study, was we took a look at the pathways that were shown to be signaled, and we double clicked on NRF2. That was one of many that was being signaled, right? So when we talk about that broad spectrum piano, the Torre lab study is showing us, hey, this is playing across a lot of different pathways. And then we double clicked on NRF2 and did some more specific research there because of the anti-inflammatory and recovery properties of NRF2.
I've been wanting to ask you this for a long time. That study focused on 5 primary pathways, and then within each one of those are more, correct? But how many
Correct.
pathways are there in total? Does anybody really know? I mean, I've heard a number as high as like 20,000 genetic pathways.
Yeah, that's probably an Andrea question. It certainly is in the ballpark of thousands, right? If you look at the human genome, right? The human genome sequence is extremely large, and genetic pathways come off of genetic sequences. And so because of the size of DNA, of course, there are a ton of different pathways. So it's on the order of thousands, right? If not tens or hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So then how did the University of Bath in England, and then how did Western Sydney and these other people come into play?
Yeah, so we were reaching out and looking for partners, third-party partners, to be able to research with us. And so we've had universities approach us. It was interesting because at the beginning of ASEA, we'd have to convince third-party labs to play ball with us, so to speak, right? Now, like Redox, what is that? I don't even know what that is. I'm not going to waste my time with that. But as the science has progressed and as kind of societal understanding of redox and the importance of redox has progressed and grown, we actually have universities approaching us asking to do studies. We did approach Bath and we did approach Sydney about doing a study, but the University of Western Sydney study was partially funded by a federal grant from the government of Australia. And so there's really broad recognition beginning to grow in the field of redox. There are conventions held around the world studying redox. And so it's really exciting to see redox grow in the scientific field and kind of the momentum behind it as people recognize just how important this is for our health and wellness.
And if I remember correctly, the University of Bath, when they started getting the results in, they didn't believe it.
Yeah.
But that really speaks to a lot of the general public, because a lot of the general public, they look at the back of the bottle hunter and they go, oh my gosh, this is salt water, guys. So did they not have an issue believing that they know about redox molecules, but that there's no way to stabilize them long enough to get them from, Salt Lake City over to England and have them remain active, correct?
Yeah, that's a great point. The secret sauce of ASEA is not so much that we create the redox signaling molecules, right? We've been able to create redox signaling molecules for a long time, but they've been fleeting. In fact, the redox signaling molecules that the body makes are used almost instantaneously, right? They're used very quickly. These are high energy molecules, and as a result, they're unstable. And so at first, these universities kind of look at us with a little bit of like, I don't know what's going on here. But then when they test the stuff, then it becomes very evident. Oh, wow, this is real. And in fact, there were results in the University of Western Sydney study that they repeated 3 times without billing us, because they wanted to make sure that they weren't making a mistake, because the magnitude of the improvement at the cellular level was so high.
It's you say that, and I met with a lady in Corpus Christi yesterday with Marcus Haas, a lady by the name of Hope, and she's had a lot of challenges, and she's very, very, very knowledgeable. And when I mentioned to her the increase in the glutathione from 40 to 55%, I am not joking. She started to cry. She
Yeah.
was so overwhelmed because that she knows is one of the solutions to help her body heal itself. I mean, she was literally in tears. And it almost makes me even, say that now because people just don't believe that we have something at this depth, like Lee says, the depth of healing, Hunter, is there's nothing deeper, right, Lee? I mean,
Well, they call it hope in a bottle. So
Yeah.
we know what it does.
Yeah, this is the fascinating thing is Hunter's been describing, this, he's really describing how the body works. When we talk about cell communication, cell signaling, the question is, what is it signaling? What do we mean signaling, right? What's the purpose of this communication? And the purpose of it, this is the way the body and the cells are designed, is to be able to respond to stresses that they experience, whether they're its own physiological, metabolic, energy-created stress or environmental stress from the world that we live in, just the toxicities. The question is, how does the body survive in a world of stress? And by that, we mean oxidative stress. We're not talking necessarily emotional, psychological, psychiatric stress, although that's a part of this through some indirect mechanisms. But we're talking about the physiologic or oxidative stress in the cell just from living. And that's a part of the whole, aging phenomena. The aging and age-related disease phenomena is that we do this we are less able as we age to be able to signal or turn on the switches that we use to activate processes that defend ourselves, that repair, that rejuvenate, that restore, that clean out, that make the DNA work good again and keep the telomeres ends on the chromosomes healthy and so forth. And to the extent that we can do that, then we slow down their biological clocks. We're able to recover and be more quickly rejuvenated. We can resist. I mean, we should hope that we would never know what diseases that we prevent because we're living the kind of life that protects the cell. And unfortunately, maybe it's not, I don't know, but most of us have this this entry point into this conversation because we're trying to fix something. And we almost come at it with a disease mindset, with a drug mindset, where we're thinking that this is on par of an intervention, which is, what medicine does, is it intervenes after the dashboard alarm signals are going off on us that tell us there's something wrong. We want to turn off or silence those alarms. And to the extent that we can get upstream or at the root cause and stop the dysfunction that's creating the disease, to the extent that we can do that is the extent to which those symptoms or the disease processes are mitigated. And so my point in all this is to say, when we step back and we look at redox cell biology, this is simply how the body works. And drugs don't necessarily play in that sandbox. Having said that, you can bet your bottom dollar that the pharmaceutical, industry is looking for ways to flip these switches.
Right.
That's why the research is going on, and this is going to become a household concept probably within the next 5 to 15 years, and it will be pushed there by the pharmaceutical companies and those that are working in anti-aging medicine, because they recognize that it's not about drugs don't make you age slower. It's improved redox signaling that makes you age slower and recover from disease. And so that's why lifestyle, that's why proper nutrition, that's why proper supplementation are all part of this equation of what makes the redox or reduction oxidation signaling communication pathways work more efficiently.
Yeah. Diane asked a question I've always really wanted a little bit of an answer as well. Can you kind of go in, Hunter, a little bit why glutathione endogenously made? I learned how to say that word. Took me a while. the endogenously made glutathione versus food-based or synthetic-based. Can you maybe kind of explain why one's better than the other?
Yeah, there's a few reasons. First is you'll notice when I talk about NRF2, I don't just say glutathione is produced. I say antioxidant response elements are produced or protective proteins are produced. Glutathione is only one of many protective proteins that are produced when you're signaling the NRF2 pathway. And those other antioxidant response elements or those protective proteins have very important roles in recovery and repair. And so if you're taking a glutathione supplement, you're only providing one of many antioxidant response elements or those protective protein species. The second answer to that is if you have glutathione supplements that are exogenous glutathione supplements, your body does not self-regulate the glutathione. There are functions in the body that could be exacerbated or worsened by too much glutathione. This product is capable of self-modulating the amount of glutathione produced because this redox signaling molecule is bioidentical to the redox signaling molecules that are in the body. And so what we found in our studies was glutathione is produced where it's needed. It is not where it is not needed. And so the body's able to modulate and control glutathione levels more effectively on an NRF2 boosting product like redox signaling molecules when it's formed endogenously versus an exogenous supplement.
Thank you.
Let me add to that. And I think this is also, if I'm reading between the lines, one of the part of this question is outside sourced glutathione. If it is administered orally through the gut, is broken down in the gut. It's very fragile. It does not survive the gut, the stomach acid content. Glutathione is a tripeptide. There's 3 amino acids that make up that protein. And when it hits the gut, they all come apart. And so you might have the raw ingredients, the glutamate and the glycine and the cysteine are the amino acids that are involved, but they're taken apart in the gut, so they don't survive, and therefore they're not really bioavailable. There is some ability to absorb them across, skin or mucous membranes. Obviously, they can be administered IV, but that has to be under supervision. So that really is a very unpragmatic way of receiving glutathione. Those routes typically are reserved for people who have serious mitochondrial dysfunction. And we're talking medical intervention, in licensed health facilities where that's administered that way. For the rest of us, the rank and file of humanity, it's not a good dietary source, and therefore, as Jim and Hunter said, it has to be manufactured inside the cell, and those NRF2 signaling transcription factors that tell the DNA what to do and when to do it and when not to do it. They're not making the glutathione directly. They're making the enzymes that put the amino acids back together. And those are called ligases. They're ligating or tying together the amino acids in the cell, which then can do the work of the glutathione. And I endorse Hunter's concept there of they're as made. The whole point of a feedback mechanism is the ability to turn things off. And that's just a general statement. When people get heavy-handed in overdosing, megadosing supplements generally, that's not generally a healthy thing to do, because you're suppressing the environment that the body uses to turn on the processes. And what you want is to have the body response able. You want it to be able to respond both to turn on as well as to turn off when it's not needed anymore.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a powerful statement, Lee. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I had a comment. So, when Nancy Thinnell was interviewed with Gina, she'd said, this new stuff is really as big as, the ASEA molecules when it first came out. So maybe you can share Like, when did y'all think that it was going to be this big? Was it when you first got all this stuff from the
The new
studies? Yeah, the new product. Yeah, so which is what Nancy was talking about. So, did you see it that big when you got everything back from these labs, or did you see it more once people started seeing some results? Because I've heard people who have sampled it, they're like, wow. So, kind of just share a little bit about, yeah, it is as big as the blue bottle.
Yeah. So, couple of layers to unpack there. When we first got the results for NRF2 for the Renew 28 and ARS product, about 2 months later, we got the results for this product. So that's how long we've been kind of working on this technology. When we got those results 2 months later after the initial run on the core technology was the first time that we thought, whoa, this could be big. Because of the order of magnitude that the result was larger than the core technology. When I say we take all of the redox potential in the product and we put it on a few keys, you're talking multiple times more effective than the core technology in the recovery and anti-inflammatory pathways. So when we talk 40 to 60%, you're north of 100% by quite a bit with this new product. And so it's a huge deal. So when we got those results was the first time we thought, whoa, this could be huge.
Okay. I want to
second,
make sure I heard. I want to make sure I heard you correctly. Could you kind of repeat that last state? That
you're
100,
hammering
that
in on the
100%.
numbers here. You're
Yeah,
banging me the wall a little bit.
I'm an
It's
ex-stockbroker, so those mean a lot.
Yeah.
So if we're 40 to 60% on the core technology in the NRF2 pathway, we are north of 100% increase, quite substantially so with the new technology. And so when we saw that, we were like, okay, this could be big. We did some additional studies to confirm that that was the result. We saw it time and time again. And then we began fine tuning the product, making sure that the concentrations were right, making sure that the redox signaling molecule profile was right, making sure that some of the other ingredients that we had to add to it in order to get the desired effect were right. And we've really calibrated this over the past 3 years to be a huge, really groundbreaking technology for ASEA. So that was the first time that we thought it was big. And then we recognized how it was happening. When I say broad spectrum versus targeted, what I mean by that is we're changing the way that the redox signaling molecules behave in the body. We're taking them and rather than applying them over a broad spectrum of pathways, we're using catalysts to control the redox signaling function within a specific pathway. And the reason that's so significant is remember at the beginning of this call, I talked about how people had really specific issues or really specific hopes for their health that they were turning to a broad spectrum product for. And because it is broad spectrum, they would experience a benefit. But what if there was a product tailored specifically to the pathways that need to be signaled for that person to achieve their health goals? This is the future and the next generation of redox. Being able to target pathways with redox signaling molecules to achieve calibrated and specific results. Another way of thinking about it is think light bulb, illuminate the room versus laser on a very specific spot. If you have to illuminate a very specific spot, the laser is much more effective at doing that than a light bulb that covers the entire room. And so this is the first step into a next generation of redox technology. There are other products that we can develop that will be calibrated to different pathways and be able to give very specific results using redox signaling molecules. And so when we talk about this is as big as Renew 28 or this is as big as the original ARS, I was hesitant to tell Scott that was my thought the first time when we were working on it because I wasn't here during the development of those products. And so I'm biased. But when I said it to Scott, he goes, oh yeah, I agree. And so it's huge. It cannot be overstated how much of a breakthrough this is for ASEA and how much this opens the door for next generation products in the redox space.
Awesome.
That's mind-boggling.
Yeah. That's
What's
great.
mind-boggling to me still, we're a 15-year young company with no competition yet, Hunter. There's a lot of people out there, though, that it seems like they're trying to steal the lingo. Oh, we're cellular, we're intracellular healing. And I just sit and tell me if I'm wrong, but I go, ask them one question. What's your stuff made from? And if it ain't salt water, it's not redox. Am I off?
Yeah. That's probably a good way to think about it. It's not redox in the way that we're talking about redox signaling. Because redox and cellular health has become really an area of focus in the scientific community. Anytime there's a focus, there's an opportunity for companies to try and spin messaging in a way that is compelling in the new state of the art of the science, right? And so the new buzzword out there is kind of cellular health, and everybody's trying to latch onto that. 15 years ago, ASEA started the vision of we want to be the leaders in cellular health and redox-based technologies. And so companies are just now realizing the potential there, but don't have the technology to really hone in at the cellular level. And so they're still approaching it from the traditional supplementation route, right? Anytime there's a supplement where you're taking a macromolecule that needs to be broken down, you're really not playing at the cellular and genetic level. You're kind of playing downstream and making a claim that you're playing at the cellular health level. So this is the only technology that I've seen that is playing at that foundational genetic cellular health level. And the only way to do that is with molecules that are bioidentical to what your cells are making in order to express those genes. If you're not introducing those molecules, you're not playing at the genetic and cellular health level. You're playing downstream of that.
So let me just plus that if I could, because what you're describing and the question you asked, Jim, is a really good one in the marketplace. Literally 100%, I'll say 99.9%, just to give us an easy out, I guess, of everything going on in the body is redox. It's all reduction oxidation. And so for someone to come along and say they have this product, usually it is a nutritional product or herb-based product or something like that. To claim that it is a redox product is partly true, because it is playing what I say it's in the landscape, it's in the sandbox, right? But what Hunter's saying is so critical, because the way we're defining it is more upstream. Everybody, literally everything that comes into the marketplace that is quote unquote redox whatever is really what we call redox active. It's not bioreactive, it's just simply active. It's taking an action somewhere in the cell along redox pathways, but it's not directly doing it. And for example, these molecules that are coming into our body from our food sources or from herbal sources actually have to be metabolized and broken down, and we call those secondary metabolites, secondary messengers. Some of them are actually tertiary, but the body has to detoxify them so that it can activate them to have some effect in a small pathway somewhere downstream. This is why this is so critical in my judgment, is because we talk about energized redox signaling molecules being the deepest cell signaling molecules in the cell. They are at the most upstream. They are what I call the intersection between energy and matter. At the very point where energy is created is where the native redox signaling molecules are manufactured in the product, in the body. And for decades, everybody in the health field has been trying to suppress them using antioxidants, so that we didn't even have them in the body. And so this is kind of the irony, of the new foray into medicine, is they're saying, hey, wait a minute, we recognize that those signaling molecules that the mitochondria is making have some value, and we want to play in the game. But that's not the game that they all have been playing for 4 or 5 decades, because they're chasing every free radical in the body out. And I'm using that in quote marks. It's an oxidant. But that's what's so critical about this, and that's why this science is so new, is because these are the bioidentical signaling molecules that tells the cell when it's experiencing stress and it better do something about it to become more resilient so it doesn't succumb to that stress. This is how we get fit. This is why we exercise. This is why we fast. This is why we diet. This is why we eat phytochemicals, is because we want to create what the hormesis principle of just a slight bit of stress that upregulates the body's defense mechanisms. That's why this is so magic, in my view.
Hunter, there's been a book written by called Good Energy, Callie Means and her brother, Lacey. What's scary is younger people. The rate of problems, disease, and things are scary, going higher. In your opinion, why is that? I mean, and that book lays out that there is signaling inside the cell. It's like, yo, we got it. We've got the signalers. But it seems like people younger and younger and younger need to be on this supplement. Is there really an age that's too young? Because we've got people that have young children that are dealing with, the bad cell problem stuff. It's like everybody needs to be on this, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, when do you know when to start? And you never stop. So, well, the best day to start's right now.
Yeah, it's never too early. In today's modern world of pollution, radio waves, toxins, water pollution, air pollution, increased radiation from the sun through the thinner atmosphere, we are exposed to more physiological stress today than the human species has ever been exposed to. And so when we talk about these health challenges that people are experiencing younger and younger, it's because the body doesn't have the ability to respond to all of the stress that it's being exposed to. All of these toxins, all of these preservatives, all of these lack of sleep, lack of exercise, bad air quality, poor water quality, our food in the United States specifically is horrible, are all stressors on the body. And what redox signaling molecules serve to do, and what Lee explained so well, is enhance our ability to respond to stress. And so really it's about achieving balance. When we're exposed to stress, we're knocked off balance. And we have to respond to stress to get back in balance. And because of the amount of stress we're exposed to every single day, these conditions, these challenges are happening younger and younger because of the amount of stress that we're exposed to.
What's really scary, and people don't realize that the emotional stress, the stress of not being able to meet your bills, running out of money by the end of the week, they don't understand, nor do I guess. But so many younger people are dealing. What kind of damage does that kind of stress do to the body? The emotional, the worrying about the election, worrying about, whatever. I mean, is that damaging our body? Is that aging us quicker?
Yeah, 100%. In fact, Casey Means in the Good Energy book has a little section on this and talks about emotional stress and dysregulation of core functions in the body. At higher stress levels, there's higher level of cortisol, as well as some other harmful hormones in the body. And that has cardiovascular implications, pulmonary implications. It has immune system depression. It has all sorts of negative effects on the body. In fact, there are studies that suggest certain levels of stress and loneliness are as deadly as smoking daily. And so
I just heard that actually.
Yeah, these elevated cortisol levels are extremely, extremely bad. And so not only is it important to manage physiological stress, but there's certainly an opportunity component to, if we can enhance people's earning capacity and things like that through sharing product and really help them to manage that side of things, that's helpful for health as well.
Can I ask you on that topic? I wrote it down anyway, but with your background and knowing what this company has, was it at all surprising to you that they're distributing this through a distribution system that isn't the traditional FDA way?
Yeah, at first I was surprised. However, after I looked at the technology and kind of the landscape, the regulatory landscape, and in fact, it's important to know that early on in this technology, while it was being developed, they were approached by pharmaceutical companies to buy this technology because of its potential, right? But because Virtus's vision was achieve global distribution, get it into the hands of those who need it, he turned it down because he was afraid that this would never see the light of day. Um, but at first I was like, man, this seems to be a therapeutic. This seems to be something pharmaceutical, just given my chemical engineering background, kind of looking at
Right.
the process. Um, However, after understanding the vision, after understanding the mission that Virtus started with, and understanding that the scientific community was not in a place to be able to categorize this correctly and be able to build regulations around it, it makes sense that it had to go through the channel that it had to because we had to tell the story, right? We had to be able to explain things in a way that traditional marketing through pharmaceutical or even through OTC would not have been able to tell.
Okay, I've had some stuff coming up with other kind of doctors that have expensive therapies, expensive pieces of equipment, at helping the body to do good things. But doesn't Redox do all of that as well? Maybe and maybe coaching people on being a little more patient, not expecting results like that quick. When I was on my pain meds with all my back surgeries, I wanted a quick result. But the body takes time to heal itself. But there's so many people that get distracted with making more money quicker, and I can charge more for that injection or that therapy or that, go sit on a box to fix your incontinence, which is nuts to me. But yet these medical professionals are making so much money doing that, but they can't see the long-term picture of building a business steadily and slowly, or not slow, but steady, and getting the residuals. It's anyway. I'm not sure what the heck I was just saying.
Well, I
Well,
think you bring up. Bring up a great point. Is we as a society have fallen prey to the I want a hack for
yeah,
everything,
Yeah,
right?
right.
I want a financial hack to make more money. I want
right.
an easy quick dollar. I want a quick way to alleviate my pain. I want a quick way to weight loss. I want a quick way to mask the symptoms that I'm feeling. We have to stop approaching health and wellness through hacks, in my opinion. There is masking a symptom, and then there is treating a cause.
Right.
Most of what is done in health and wellness and in the pharmaceutical industry is treating symptoms because that's what people complain about, right? Uh, ASEA's core technology, redox technology, may not mask the symptom as quickly as some harmful
Right.
pharmaceuticals out there. But it is the fastest way that I know of to be able to enhance your body's ability to respond to stress and get back into balance for long-term benefits. I don't know of another technology capable of doing it as quickly as ASEA because it has to go to the foundation of health and wellness, which is the cells. And there is no quick way to restore cellular balance. It has to happen over time. You got out of balance over a series of years. You cannot put yourself back into balance overnight.
Okay. How much time, Hunter, would you say? And I know there's so many things, the varying points here. Maybe Lee with you, but realistically, if you're drinking 4 to 6 to 8 ounces a day, what do you say?
Yeah, I think over the past 15 years, we've seen a really, really significant number of people have it within 90 days. I think it's pretty common to have a result by 30 days, but you have to be patient enough to allow it to go at least 90 days, in my opinion. It is providing benefit. I know myself, I'm young, I'm healthy. Really, the benefit that I get from the product is I do notice that I recover a little bit faster from my workouts, and I do happen to have a little bit more restful sleep. Um, but there are long-term benefits to having this product that I am looking forward to kind of maintaining my health and wellness. It's not just about lifespan, it's about health span, right? How long can I maintain a healthy, active life? And I know that ASEA is doing that for me. And so everybody at every age needs this. You just have to allow it take its time to be able to get you back in balance.
I think the
Yeah.
question that you're addressing your answer toward, um, we wind up in trouble because we paint ourselves into a corner because we have this drug mentality. Our whole society does. We're trying to turn off the trouble light, the blinking, the fire, smoke alarm, whatever, and we're thinking about drugs. We go to the doctor because something hurts. I want the pain to go away. I want the reason for my pain to go away, and so we consume a medication that's a drug mindset, and we carry that into this. Would you say that eating lots of cauliflower and broccoli and fasting and doing a keto diet, would you consider that as therapy? Would that be, we just don't think of it as with a drug mindset anymore. And we recognize that when we do that, that not all of our ails are going to like immediately vanish as though we just took a hydrocodone or something and I feel better, right? That's not what we're talking about. And that's, I feel, with my Redox Matters thing, I probably am a little bit of the Dear Abby of ASEA, because I get dozens and dozens and dozens of questions coming to me about this, that, and the other. And I'm always saying, this is not a drug. Don't look at this as a drug. This is a preventive. May you never know the disease you don't get, and hopefully the disease that you do have improves because we dealt with the root cause. But it doesn't take all the water back upstream that's gone under the bridge in the last 20, 30 years, of your life. And so we have to have these expectations appropriately. And the other thing is, it's important that we also say that we're not dismissing regular medical care. If your knee is already bone on bone, you're not going to, with nutrition, suddenly make it, regrow all the cartilage. It's just highly not probable, right? And so you're going to have to live bone on bone, because that's a different issue. But what we can say, and I hope this is coming through, is that we can deal with the oxidative insults that those problems cause, because that's the root cause.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to comment, I love the word target, because when the Cell Performance came out, we talked about, targeted specific results to the brain, and through the herbs and through the nutrients that are in each packet. And now this new product is targeting those pathways. So for me, it's going to be exciting to market it, because I may be able to go to Joe or Sally who hasn't yet done the blue bottle and may not want to branch into drinking daily. Some say their excuse is remembering to do it, getting in a routine. But if I can get their attention with the new product, that might be my in, get them going on the new. And of course, the ultimate goal, so they can work on the other parts of the body, is get them on the liquids. So that's what's neat about this targeted pathway impact, is that it's going to go to people that I've yet to, we've just smidged the amount of people that don't even know about redox signaling. So super excited about it coming. Any week we'll get to sample it in Utah.
That's kind of your approach, isn't it, Hunter? Is that this will be a much easier avenue to share this with someone, show, share, and connect, what Terry Latham and Jerry White have coached us with. But now, we've got meetings lined up from the meeting. So can you kind of go over real quick, we're having a meeting January the 9th. We will be coming back with samples, those that get to go to that meeting. So they're going to be all people from all over the world are coming in. They're going to be purchasing the product before it's released. The release date is U.S. and it's going to be some northern and southern countries, correct? Are you allowed to state that yet?
For February.
Yeah, so I won't give official release dates, but there are several countries that will launch together with the U.S.
Okay.
The other countries will be no more than 2 months behind. So once the first launch hits the U.S. as well as a few of the other countries, the rest of the countries will be within a couple of months, if not sooner. The intent behind January 9th, and I'm seeing a couple of questions about the form and things like this about the
Right.
product. So why don't I kind of go into that as well and kind of
Yeah.
answer what I can? The product is a topical product. It is a redox signaling molecule product, and it is specifically targeted at the NRF2 pathway as well as other important recovery and relief pathways. So all of that redox potential squarely into relief and recovery.
Yeah.
To your point, Jim, and because this is so targeted in recovery and relief, it will be an experiential product. It will be something that is fast acting. In fact, we have many people who have tried the product and immediately experienced benefits. These are people who have been using Renew 28 for 10 years and have not had the benefit they had after a single use of this product.
Right.
It's amazing the impact that this is having for people. And so it will be a topical in a tube. We sent an email out to the attendees at 5 o'clock Mountain Time.
Got it.
The attendees will be able to buy as much product as they want. In fact, we've had some leaders call us and say, "Hey, we need this information because I'm going to my downline and I'm taking pre-orders from my downline. I'm going to bring it back to them." That's great. We want you to do that. We want you to be able to get your team excited about this, but this is really going to change the way that we can talk about redox and share redox. It's no longer a 90-day stick with it. At the end, you'll be convinced, I promise. It's now, hey, try this. This is amazing. It's going to help you. Boom. Okay, 2 minutes later after talking, okay, you ready? Let's get you signed up. And it's
Right.
really, really effective.
Well, the key thing I say right there, Hunter, is do I have your attention now? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
when their boo boo gets significantly better, and they're, whoa, what'd you do to me? I said, okay, now do we have your attention? Now it's time to learn a little bit more. And once you do that, it's like, oh my gosh, they're paying so much attention to you. It's crazy. Now, is this going to be more of a topical application? Because when I did Renew here, my foot got better. Now, the thing that's kind of cool, though, too, with the clay mask, which you guys just kind of gave us a massive gift by putting 60% more product
Same price.
for the same price. Now, but the clay mask was supposed to be facial, but people have gone, the ancillary benefits to it are crazy.
Sure.
Will this maybe, and we really don't know, I guess, what this new targeting technology will there be some ancillary, or is it just because you mentioned really two words, relief and recovery, or recovery and relief? Those are the two focus words.
Yeah, 100%. I do not anticipate that there will be the ancillary benefits of this product as you see with Renew 28. And again, that goes back to broad spectrum versus targeted. And so there are a lot of different uses for Renew 28. I would encourage people who are using those alternative or call them off-label uses of Renew 28 to stick with Renew 28 and not try and use this product. I can give you a quick example. Renew 28 is a cosmetic, right? It started as a cosmetic. It was really, that's what we call it, Renew 28, renew your skin cells in 28 days. Because it's broad spectrum, people realize, oh, I'm getting a little bit of relief from this when I use it. Well, yeah, because it's broad spectrum, it touches that recovery pathway. This is targeted at the recovery pathway. So when we tested it in our cosmetic system of experiments, we have that facial analyzer.
Yeah.
There are 0 cosmetic benefits to this product. It does not work as a cosmetic.
Even though there's redox in it.
Even though there's redox in it, but it's
that's
not using redox in those pathways that benefit cosmetic health.
Oh, and part two.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you say ancillary uses, the odds of ancillary benefits are extremely small with this product because it is so targeted towards relief and recovery. Right. So those other ancillary benefits that come, keep those with Renew 28. That's what you want to use as your foundational health and wellness product. This is, hey, I work out 6 times a week and I want to be able to recover faster. This is, hey, I've got an ache in my arm that hasn't gone away for 20 years. I'd love to be able to pick up my grandkids again. This is very specific targeted uses for relief and recovery and helping your body recover at the cellular level.
And use it when you're in that challenge. So
Use as needed.
like you're starting to use it on your shoulders better. Maybe you don't need it the next day because you feel good, and maybe you hurt again on your big workout on the legs on Saturday, and then you take it again and use it again each time you hurt in that spot. Is
Yeah,
that kind of
so I like to use it daily whenever I'm exercising, because there's two words there, right? There's relief and there's recovery.
Recovery.
Relief is kind of solving that discomfort problem, right?
Okay.
The symptom. Recovery is renewal of cells. Daily application of renewal of cells means that you are able to recover faster. I found that I use about two tubes per month is a pretty good use rate for me.
Okay.
Cool. We work with Rose Monday, the U.S. Olympic track and field coach. Will this be authorized for Olympic athletes?
It will fall under the same NSF sports certificate that we have for all of our Redox products.
Wow. And my buddy David Meddy asked a question. It is still 100% non-toxic, 100% native. But there is another molecule that's attached to the redox molecule. And so that's kind of crazy that this is crazy. It's so hard for people to believe this, Hunter. I don't know how you sleep at night. And there's more things that are coming, right? I mean, this just isn't number uno and no mas. I mean, this is more are coming, right?
Yeah, this is the first step into next generation Redox.
Okay, we won't tell anybody. Go ahead and tell us what they are. So
It's coming. It's coming.
Hunter, I can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
This has just been this has been amazing.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And we will have Jerem, our CEO, will be here on January the 17th. I had a mix up in the scheduling. So but he will be here. He's going to go over, because by that time we're sharing all, right, Hunter? There's no more holding
Yes.
back.
Yep.
Okay.
By that time, you'll know. One more thing I want to point out. If you have an upline that is going to the event, reach out to them and have them purchase product for you. We just sent out the email for price. We're going to do a promotional deal at the event. It will be a 4-pack with an exclusive launch box that you'll get 4 tubes for 180 US dollars and 150 PV. So that is the deal. And if you
no
want
tax?
to get some,
There's
there
no
will be
tax on
the
that?
Utah sales tax. So it's I think
There will be.
6.75, 4.75%.
Okay.
So
Yeah, you
slightly
pay for
above the 180 price point, but you'll get 4
So-
tubes at $180.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing with our team.
Yeah.
And so we're collecting the money before we go. And then, then we'll put it on our card, obviously. And then we come back and then, guys, we're hitting the road. If you're part of our group, by golly, I've got a calendar where we've got every day of the week. We're going to be doing this sampling. Bring your discomforts. Discomforts and health workshop is what we're calling this, because there's nothing like this on the planet. And it still blows me away that we have no competition. That nothing, and it blew me away when you maybe you shared too much, but when you said 100%, that really got my attention, Hunter. When you said
And
40 to 60%,
it's much more than 100%. I'm being conservative because I don't want to give away all the secrets before January 9th.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now that price, that 180, as you just said, is a promo price. So at time of whatever date we, launch it, United States wide, that's going to
Would that
be a
price
different
change?
price because you just said promo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
it's a bundled promo price for the event.
Right.
It will be higher than that come launch, but that's
Right.
the deep discount. If you want to get product, buy it at the event because it's a
Okay.
good deal.
And what countries will have it on the 9th, Hunter, so people know out there? Canada?
On January 9th,
Yeah, January the 9th.
Again,
there's no launch
No,
January.
I'm
9th.
sorry. You're right. Okay, that's right.
You
But
know
so,
when the launch is in February, whatever that date is, if it's still the 9th of February. I don't know. If
Yeah,
that's-
so
didn't
we're
know,
not
but-
talking launch details until January 9th or February 9th,
Okay.
or January
Right.
9th.
Right.
But the countries that are getting it, as well as the timeline of the other countries, will all be discussed at the event.
okay.
Yeah.
And so those of us that are going will be able to share that after
Yep.
January the 9th. And we will be back in San Antonio on January the 12th. So, guys, this has been awesome. Hunter, thank you. I just want to pray that everyone has a blessed Christmas season.
Yep.
Remember the reason for the season. And Lee Osler, he just had twin great grandbabies, identical twins. That is just so cool. Hunter, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate all your time.
And we can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
And everyone out there, thank you. We pray that everyone has a blessed time. Get back to the person that got you on this call. If you're part of our group, part of our downline, what we call you're part of our distribution system, please get back to the one, get back to us. And we are collecting money for our team anyway before the meeting so that when we come back, we'll be able to distribute. So with that, guys, thank you so much. God bless.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. And
See
we love you.
January 3rd.
We will be back January the 3rd. Surprise guest. Thank you, everybody. God bless.
Thanks again.
Oh, the meeting will be up at Redox Matters probably, within the hourly?
Hour or so.
Okay, cool.
Thanks again.
Thank you, guys. God bless.
Bye.
Bye.
See you soon.
Only you end it tonight, not me. See you guys.